We're going to make a cathedral veil with cut lace, and it's going to be beautiful. What I'm going to be showing you is how you can use leftover lace and then create patterns throughout the veil. I've chosen little tiny lace flowers to put throughout mine, so stay tuned. I'm going to lay everything out on the table and show you what we're going to do, and in the end, you're going to have a beautiful veil that you can adorn a bride with. All right, let's go do it. I'm going to show you how to cast throughout the body of your veil tiny little lace flowers. What you need to do is to iron your illusion netting, because once we get these appliques on there, it's going to be harder to iron them. The next thing you're going to need is a lace trim that has beautiful little patterns in it. This one I've already been cutting on, and these are the little flowers that I'm going to be cutting off of the netting. And we'll need some pins. We're going to need some glue. I love this glue. I use a smaller bottle and I fill with the larger bottle. And this is just a little easier on the hand. And I may cast a little pearls throughout the netting as well. So I put those over here just in case I feel inspired and I want to put some through there. So I'm going to go ahead and put my gloves on and get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm just cutting out a flower, and sometimes it will be connected, especially alcon lace. Go ahead and try to snip as far out as you can. Then as I cut, I organize over here. So I have my large flowers, my medium flowers, and my small. Now I don't have a lot, and that's fine, because I don't want it to be like very close together. We're just randomly scattering. And when I say randomly, we're going to plan the random, and we're going to do it in a way that is, it's going to feel like it just kind of was thrown out. And that's the fun part about casting throughout the netting. I also have a tutorial on how to cast pearls and crystals throughout the netting. And when I do it, I'm trying to cut as much as the little netting off as I can. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to do the large, and then I'm going to randomly put the medium and the small at the top to kind of see how it looks to my eye. And I don't want things lining up. So when I say lined up, when I use my grid here, which is always very helpful, that means they're not landing on the same grid. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pin it, because I want to make sure this looks good before I start gluing these flowers and sewing them on. And I'm going to keep going with those large. Try not to make them too close because I don't have a lot. One right there, since there's nothing in this plane. As you see, it looks random, but we're planning it. And as you notice, there wasn't a lot of flowers there, but it's already covering the space beautifully, isn't it? Great. A little goes a long ways. We want to make sure these aren't lined up. I'm going to be putting another one here, so I'm going to go up higher. So I'm going to go about right here, so I'm not necessarily in line with anything else. Now let's pull this out and cast that. As you can see, it's looking really pretty. We're getting to that end of the larges. I think that's my last large. And now I'm going to head to the mediums. All right, since I am working on this space, I'm going to now flip the veil. All right, now that I'm looking at it, as I put the train over that direction, I'm now seeing this large is not doing me any favors. So I'm going to pull that one off. And a great way to look at this is go ahead and put your veil out on a nice clean surface. That's actually a really nice way to see everything laid out, and you can then kind of rearrange at that time. So I'm going to put right here a medium. I always like to cut my lace out and organize it before I get started, because it's kind of like a puzzle. You're puzzling through, and you can just dive in and go for it, but it's a lot easier for your brain, I think, to kind of know where you're going and what you have and how many do you have of that flower, so that you just don't dive in kind of blind. And like I said, I'm going to lay this out and I'm going to look at it before I glue it. So our mediums are looking great. I'm going to put another medium here. Okay, now the small. As you can see, this process goes pretty quickly. Casting them throughout is the easy part. The hard part will be to sew them. That's kind of a lap work kind of thing. You'll just kind of sit with your veil in your lap, trying not to scrunch it too much because they do get wrinkled. You can always steam it if you do get some wrinkles in it. I have one small left, but I don't know where to put it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just lay this out for my eye to see on a nice clean surface. And then once I've decided where and how I want these to go, I'm going to go ahead and then glue them. So I'll be right back. After I do that, I will then show you how to glue these on. All right, I laid it on the floor. The pattern looks great. The large to the medium to the small looks really beautiful. Now I'm going to take each of these individual ones and I'm going to glue and then sew. I have a little board that I created. This is a cardboard. It's a heavy duty cardboard that I've covered in duct tape. This is what I use to put like pearl edges on. You'll see that in Let's Get Edgy with Pearls, where I use this board to protect my surface, and it just helps me to kind of see what I'm doing as well. So I'm just going to slide this in here. And from this spot, I know this is about roughly where I want to go. And I'm going to glue that in and place that down. And that helps the board being there. Oops. All right, I got a little bit of glue on the netting. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of rubbing alcohol that I have in a dish. I also have a little Q-tip available. And what I do is I just go in there and I very gently go around and get that glue up. And do that right away. This also works on your board, and that'll take care of that. That's a quick tip. All right, now that you have that in place, go ahead and pull that up, and then I clean this off. Now, I'm not going to show you the process of doing all of these. That would take forever, and you get the idea. And I have invisible thread with a little tiny, I think this is a size 10 or 11 needle. And now I'm going to go in and just sew this. And like I said, this is really lap work where you could like watch your favorite show, just kind of listen to a book, and this kind of go through here. And you do not want to pull the tension tight. You want to keep things loose underneath. And I just basically make sure to grab each of the leaves as I go around, not pulling tight because that will bunch it. You don't want to bunch anything. Typically you'll do this after the glue is dried, but for time sensitive reasons, I'm doing it now with you, but the glue is still setting. And then you just tie that off and then go to the next flower. And this is a great time too. See that little center there? In that center, I am going to put pearl. So I'm going to put a little dollop of glue there, and then I put that pearl right in the center, like that. Kind of gives it a little finish. You can also do crystals around the flower petals. You could just have too much fun. Explore the different aspects of cutting lace, because when you get a piece of lace and you cut it, you're going to find different patterns. For instance, on this lace that we cut, there are all kinds of little patterns in here. I love this one, looks like a crown to me. I use this a lot when I bead my combs. And you can see that in Put a Comb on It. Post your photos, your videos in the comments. I would love to see what you guys are producing when you watch this video. I hope this little quick tip was fun for you, how to cut lace and how to cast it throughout your netting. I have a lot of work left to do, but you know, if you've been following me on my channel, that everything we do as veil makers is an act of love. All right, go sprinkle love all over this veil and have fun doing it. See you later, veil makers. All right, that's it. You can see how simple it is. You can take old lace that you have, cut out little patterns, and then cast it throughout your netting to make a beautiful design. I chose to put 3 different size flowers throughout the netting. And in the end, I put a beautiful lace comb on the end. It's so pretty too. The whole thing just comes together, and all this lace was just laying around that had no purpose other than for me to cut it and to make this beautiful veil with it. All right, and there it is. There's the beautiful giant cathedral. I love it. If you're interested in making a veil from start to finish, I have an entire playlist set up for you, how to make a veil from start to finish. And that is the measuring of your veil all the way to the edge. And there's lots of different edges, and there's how to gather your veil, how to put it on a comb. And then of course, this one is going to be added to that so that you can know how to put the appliques on as well. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel, because when you subscribe to my channel grows, and when I grow, I can make more tutorials for you. And I totally love doing this. If you have a tutorial you would like to see like this subscriber did, then why don't you just put it in the comments and let me know, what would you like to see next? This is Doreen Vandermeer, and this is Bridal Veil Secrets Unveiled.